Greetings all, this is Justin from Those Hairy Gamers, and I'm here with Nick.
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing well.
Excellent. Time to do some more list reviews. We had a lot of submissions after Justin opened up his very first X-Wing ship ever, which was...
Yay! Decimator!
Yeah, that thing. A Decimator. And I basically said, hey, what should Justin do as his first few lists? And we got heaps and heaps of submissions. So much so that we're going to put this over 2 videos. And we're going to split up those lists as such. We had quite a lot with Rear Admiral Shenru. As you would expect, he is sort of the meta pilot on the Decimator.
RAC ATTACK!
And we also had a bunch from others. Mainly Captain Oiken, but one from Captain Kenko. But for today, we're going to stick to Mr. Rack because...
he's good.
He's awesome, and he is the one that Justin was most hyped to fly when he was looking at the Decimator. So we'll look at those ones first. So before we look at these lists, let's just have a quick chat about the Decimator. What makes it great? And basically, this is Big Stats, the ship. It is one of the only ships that sits at a very comfortable 60 points with most of its builds. It has the highest hit point threshold out of all the ships in the game at 16 hit points. It has a massive attack at 3 dice and 360 degrees, and all the pilots favour aggro, builds, and playstyles. It is big, it is scary, and it's effective. So while most of these came from the unboxing video, some of them did come from other videos, and they're all relevant here, so we just put them all into this one list building video. The first is from MS6 Derek. He suggested using RAC with Lieutenant Colzet. Lieutenant Colzet has Ion Pulse Missile, Fire Control Systems, Stealth Device, and the TIE X1 title. RAC has Veteran Instincts, Extra Munitions, Emperor Palpatine, Kylo Ren, Proton Bombs, Engine Upgrades, and the Dauntless title. And that rounds out to a neat 100 points.
The Rear Admiral at 71 points, that's a lot of points.
It is a lot. I like my racks to be around about 60 points if I possibly can, so this is quite pushed.
Yeah.
And the justification there is you've put a relatively cheap ship alongside it. And I can see what the symbiosis you're going for here. You want Lieutenant Colzet alongside a Kylo Ren equipped Rear Admiral Shenru, so you can give them a blinded pilot and flip it over and over again. It's a fun, janky combo, don't get me wrong. I feel like you could be doing better as a wingman for RAC.
Yeah.
Having said that, if that's what you're going for, this works really well. This works really well. You've got Palp, you've got Kylo on RAC. He's doing all the work. He's getting those crits through. You're getting the blinded pilot through as soon as possible. There's not much more to say about it, honestly. I like that you've put Fire Control System on Colzet. I think that is the best upgrade that works alongside him. It means you're getting target locks over and over again, so you're going to trigger his ability over and over again.
That's good.
Ion Pulse Missiles is interesting. I don't love it because you have to use up a target lock to use it. Having said that, you're going to get a free one afterwards anyway off Fire Controls. So I guess the justification here is in the Alpha Strike, you hit them with the Ion Pulse, they get ionized, they can't turn away, and then RAC just dives on them and you just punish them with Lieutenant Colzet.
Yeah.
So I get what's going on there. Stealth Device... yeah, I get it. You can't fit in engine upgrades because you don't have enough points for it. It's not very exciting or flavorful. You're not taking a lot of evade tokens. You're always target locking. Unless it's not the first turn, then you can take evade or focus. I don't feel like Stealth Device is doing a lot in this list. I would consider Twin Ion Engine Mark II. It means we get a 2-point initiative bid, which is okay.
Yep.
Lieutenant Colzet sits at Pilot Skill 3, so the initiative bid isn't really doing a lot of work for you, but RAC does sit at Pilot Skill 10. I don't know. I feel like that this part of the list is just a bit awkward, just this stealth device here. I'm not too sure what to do with it. It's cool. It's cool. I feel like it's just not quite there. I feel like ultimately, yes, the Colzet combination is cool, but just a good, consistent wingman probably will do better overall. But if the combo is what you want, this is probably one of the best ways to do it, for sure. Let's move on to a list from Coda. This uses Rear Admiral Shenru alongside the Inquisitor. RAC has Expertise, Palp, Rebel Captive, and Engine Upgrade, and the Inquisitor has Push, Cruise Missiles, TIE V1, and Auto Thrusters. This is very interesting.
You didn't realise earlier that the Inquisitor was actually at 34 points with all of those. You were quite surprised.
I thought, oh, Inquisitor, yeah, he's around the mid-30s. No, the Inquisitor with his standard build, which is this minus the cruise missiles, is 31 points. So 34 points doesn't feel bad.
Yeah.
A lot of people I know fly the Inquisitor with the proton rockets, which also cost 3 points, which gives you a massive range 1 only attack. The cruise missiles gives you a bit more playing around. You can proc it at range 3 and have a really good time with it. He's going to have target locks because he's the Inquisitor with a TIE V1. He wants target locks. He's going to do it pretty much every single turn.
Yeah.
So that actually feels pretty good. I don't usually like putting ordnance on the Inquisitor, but something that you can effectively fire at range 3 is good. Yeah. Auto thrusters is helping you on the defense. Cruise missiles is going to give you a big attack. It doesn't help him with his pilot ability. That only helps his primary, so a little awkward there. I mean, you're already always getting a 3 dice attack. So you basically want to make sure you get the most value out of cruise missiles to make it worth it for that 3 points. Yeah. Having said that, if you didn't have the cruise missile, it would be a bit awkward overall because you wouldn't really have anything else to spend those points on. Alongside Rear Admiral Shenru at 65 points, which feels like a much better, more competitive point cost. Much more than 71. 65 is sort of like the higher limits of what I'd push RAC to. So from that point of view, putting them alongside that RAC makes sense. So the cruise missiles, I really like in this build. RAC has an interesting build. He has Expertise, Palp, and Rebel Captive.
And engine upgrade.
Well, engine upgrade's pretty much an auto-aid with RAC. I think it's a very powerful thing. His ability is all range-based, so engine upgrade is fantastic. Even for 4 points, you're getting all your value out of it.
Yeah.
Expertise is interesting, though. I don't like this with RAC. I have to be critical here because ultimately RAC is almost always giving you 1 free focus conversion on your attacks. So Expertise is not giving you any value unless you roll 2 or more, and even if you do roll 2 or more, it's giving you a reduced value. Because you're always going to use RAC for one of those focus tokens and Expertise for the rest. So it's giving you its full value -1, which still isn't great. Expertise is a very well-balanced card. So if you don't get all the value out of it, you're spending 4 points on a card which really isn't worth 4 points in your list. I'd err on the side of Predator.
I think Predator would work quite well here. Yeah.
I think in general, when you have focus conversions for free, or focus tokens on your attack consistently, Predator's good. Rerolls with focus conversions are good. You're upping the chances of getting those focus results. Rolling 3 dice at range 2 gives you no guarantee of getting a focus.
Yeah.
The maths are not on your side. I think it's roughly 1 in every 2 attacks will give you a focus result. So Predator really ups those chances. Even if you're only getting 1 reroll every turn, it's going to help you a lot with Rear Admiral Shenru's ability. So I would go for Predator instead of Expertise. Palp seems fine. Great with this list. Palp alongside the Inquisitor. Yeah, he's an ace. He can be squishy in the wrong situations, so you just want to make sure you have Palp to save him and convert those bad dice results for free. Rebel Captive is cool. I can see why you've gone for this. Rear Admiral Shenru in this list should be the #1 target because he's much easier to hit than the Inquisitor, and therefore probably easier to kill for your opponent. So Rebel Captive means, hey, if you shoot me first, you're getting stress tokens, and then the Inquisitor will punish you. I don't know. We could go for Kylo Ren or Vader in this list, and
that almost seems better.
Yeah. Rebel Captive is the better defensive choice, but Vader or Kylo is doing a lot more work, arguably. Bit hard to say. I mean, if this is something you like to fly, I can see why Rebel Captives would work for you. I don't think it's a bad choice.
No.
I just think probably for the 3 points we can be doing better. Overall, really cool idea. I've never thought of flying RAC with the Inquisitor. I think that's a really cool concept. Yeah. The Inquisitor is generally cheaper than most ships you fly alongside RAC, so you've stacked a few more points on RAC to kind of make up the points difference. And that's interesting. The question is, has that pushed RAC too far points-wise? I think it's probably fine, but you'll have to wait and see. Have a play around with this and see what you think.
Next, we have one from Joel Freeman, the TIE Advanced with Darth Vader and Rear Admiral Shenru. Darth Vader has Veteran Instincts, Cruise Missiles, Engine Upgrade, the TIE X-1, and Advanced Targeting Computer. And Rear Admiral Shenru has Veteran Instincts, Ion Bombs, Engine Upgrade, Kylo Ren, Rebel Captive, and Dauntless.
Okay, so what's going on here? Vader is interesting. He's worth 37 points. 38 points. I didn't look at the advanced targeting computer. So that's good. I feel like Vader wants to be as close to the mid-30s as possible, but the fact that you've got cruise missiles on it sort of justifies pushing up a bit. Yeah. By the way, when I made my video on the cruise missiles, and this concept was floating around with Vader with cruise missiles. I wasn't too sure. I don't like stacking more points on aces. I like trying to keep them as cheap as possible.
Yeah.
But from what people have been flying and from what I've seen, cruise missiles is actually really effective on Vader.
Okay.
Because his dial works with it. He has the slot. He always has target locks.
Yep.
And he always makes good use of them. And cruise missiles doesn't spend the target lock. There's a lot of good things going for it, which I quite like. It means he needs to take another target lock if he uses it for rerolls to make sure his advanced targeting computer is working for him the next turn. But that's not too hard to get around.
Yeah.
He's doing a lot of work. Yeah, and you're often going to punch through crits. And you've got engine upgrades. I've seen a lot of people do this with the guidance chips to save points. But I think there's a case for either of them. Yeah. Engine upgrades is the more expensive build, but engine upgrades on Vader, it's very good. It's very good. It is the standard thing you put on Vader. Maybe not the standard thing now because of the presence of cruise missiles, but still a very cool thing. Now, Mr. Rear Admiral Shenru, you've got engine upgrades, ion bombs, veteran instincts, Kylo Ren, captive, and dauntless. Okay, so what's going on there? I mean, VI obviously gets into pilot skill 10. Yep. You've got a pilot skill 10 and a pilot skill 11. You're playing hard to get with basically any ace in the game, which is great fun. I like ion bombs alongside Vader with cruise missiles.
Yeah.
Because Vader needs to get the cruise missiles off. He needs predictability in his opponent to make sure they don't counter it. Dauntless. Dauntless is interesting. Do you really want to go ramming your opponent? Maybe. I like it alongside Kylo because you can use the Kylo action.
Oh, yeah.
He hasn't got intimidation or anything, so we only have one card that likes to bump. This is kind of what you do with Oiken. If you want your ship to bump, you put him on Oiken. So Dauntless with Rear Admiral Shenru is interesting. Again, Rebel Captive, if you want to punish your opponent for choosing Rear Admiral Shenru first. I don't know if I would choose Rear Admiral Shenru first. If I was flying against this, I'd probably...
Yeah, Vader's...
It's because you put Ordnance on Vader. That makes him a bit more juicy. It makes him... He's pushing up to the near 40-point mark with a piece of Ordnance on him. If you can kill Vader before he gets the cruise missile off, that's game losing right there.
Yeah. You
shouldn't win a game if you kill Vader with that cruise missile. From that point of view, Rebel Captive doesn't feel good here. I would rather go for something more offensive. You can't put Vader on, obviously. No. You can't do Kylo Ren because Kylo Ren's already there, so...
What do you do?
Maybe that's the logic there. Maybe that's why I've gone for Rebel Captive. You know what? Rebel Captive actually doesn't seem too bad here. Simply because I don't think there's many strong options.
No.
You could go Tactician and get a bit more control, do another point of initiative bidding. The reason I'm not so keen on Rebel Captive is because I don't think RAC is going to be your number one target on your list.
Yeah.
Necessarily. I think if I was flying against this, I'd dive on Vader immediately and try and kill him, take him off the board first. Yeah, it's a really cool list. I love the idea because it feels very balanced. Vader at the higher 30 points, it's fine when you have cruise missiles. Yeah. Rear Admiral Shenru at 61 points, yeah, that's really cool. That's really cool. I think that feels really good. It feels balanced. Basically, when you build a list, you don't want to have one of your ships be the obvious target. Yeah. You don't want that. Because that way, your opponents who are able to look at your list and sort of judge that will always systematically kill your list ships one by one. With this list, I don't feel like that's the case. I feel like it's not as clear-cut. And you can use both ships effectively whilst not giving your opponent any clear targets. I love the idea of Vader alongside Rear Admiral Shenru. I think especially now with the cruise missiles, that's going to do a lot of work for you. So the last list we have for today is from Dashar. This is Raiad Burrell. This is Countess Raiad along Rear Admiral Shenru. Raiad has the X7 title and Lone Wolf and Stealth Device. Rear Admiral Shenru has engine upgrades, VI, Dauntless, Kylo, Rebel Captive, and his son is Sard. So first of all, Raiad. You've put Lone Wolf on Raiad. That's interesting. The usual build we put on Raiad is push the limits. I don't love Lone Wolf and Stealth Device, to be honest. Stealth Device is cool. I get what you're doing. If you have Lone Wolf proccing a lot, Stealth Device is going to roll you more green dice, and you're probably not going to not evade because you get a reroll off one of those blanks, and as long as you have a focus token, you're pretty safe off that. But do you really want to fly it like that? Or rather, I should say, do you want to make sure you always fly like that? Maybe there's situations where you don't want to. Maybe there's situations where you do want to fly near Rear Admiral Shenru. And for that reason, I just gravitate back to the standard build for Raiad. I know it's boring, I know everyone does it, but push the limits in Twin Iron Engine Mark II. It is 4 points instead of 5 points, and I think it's just better. to be honest.
Seeing as you're running Countess Raiad with Lone Wolf, shouldn't Rear Admiral Shenru to a certain extent be running Ruthlessness?
That's a very interesting point, but we don't fit Ruthlessness in this because he has VI and we don't have any more points to play with. That's a very good idea. I did not think about that. Basically, Lone Wolf and Ruthlessness makes a pretty... That's actually a really good thought, Justin. I've never thought about Lone Wolf and Ruthlessness before.
Yeah.
But it's very cool. The problem there is VI is very good on Rear Admiral Shenru, puts him from an 8 to a 10, makes him fly after races. It means his engine upgrades are more working for him. But that's a good thought. That's something we'll have to think about later on and actually have a play around with. So yeah, Raiad, honestly, I know it's boring, but I would go for the standard Raiad build. Rear Admiral Shenru looks pretty straightforward. There's no Vader in this list. We can switch out Rebel Captain for Vader if we want. And I would. I absolutely would, because we have Ivan Sard in the list.
Yeah. Yeah, because your Sard and Vader together work really well.
Yeah, really well indeed. I see what you're doing with Rebel Captive and Ivan Sard. It means if Rear Admiral Shenru gets focus fired, and he may well do. He may well do because Raiad can dodge a lot of stuff because she's Raiad, of course. It means if they are shooting RAC over and over again, they're getting stressed and they're not having a good time trying to get through all those evade tokens. So I see what you're doing there. I just think if we go to the standard build on Raiad and we use Vader instead of Rebel Captive on RAC, they can fly together, they can focus fire, and they can do a lot of damage.
That's suddenly very scary.
Having said that, it's clear to me that I'm building the list in a way that you wouldn't, Mr. Dashar. So from that point of view, I understand if you prefer to fly it your way. So I'm not going to say my way is absolutely strictly better. I think proven meta-wise, the way I'm looking at it kind of makes more sense. The overly aggressive RAC build with the more versatile Raiad build, to me, makes a lot more sense. So that is the first of these two-parter Decimator builds that you guys have submitted. The next episode will have a bunch of stuff that aren't RAC related. But
Oiken and other.
Oiken and other, pretty much exactly right. Like and subscribe. We'll catch you later on.
Chuck us a like on Facebook and we'll see you later.